going on, guys? Welcome back to the video. Today we're going to be ranking each Metallica member, present and former. And that's it. I was in the mood to record a video. I'm trying to think of what to do, and I don't think I've ever seen a video of somebody like ranking, not really ranking, but just like kind of ranking, like from 1 to 10, how good are these members of Metallica. So I thought, why not do it? So we're going to talk about each member. There's going to be a picture of the member, and I'll also put the score of the member. So we're going to start off from the first members to the latest members. And Metallica didn't have many lineup changes besides bass players and one guitar switch. So let's get into the original 4 members, starting with Dave Mustaine, the original lead guitar for Metallica. So I think Dave Mustaine is a very, very good guitar player. I can't say the same for his singing, though. I think his singing is actually extremely ass. But his guitar playing, though, is actually really good. There's a reason why he was the lead guitar player instead of the vocalist, because he's good at guitar, not at singing. And I'd give Dave Mustaine, in terms of solos and the way that he could play his guitar, very deservable 10 out of 10. I think anybody can agree with me on that, is that his guitar playing is awesome. And if, you listen to the original Dave Mustaine solos from Kill 'Em All, they're really good, man. They're really good. And not even, and we're not going to be talking about Megadeth. We're talking about Metallica. So his time in Metallica, 10 out of 10. And in general, he's a good guitar player. So, and his solos are really good solos. He's a really talented guitar player. Maybe I might make a video talking about why he can't sing. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all know Dave Mustaine can't sing. He's better off playing the guitar. But that's for a different video. So Dave Mustaine gets a very deservable 10 out of 10. Then for the original drummer, which is still the current drummer of Metallica, Lars Ulrich, the founder of Metallica. And I don't care what anyone says, okay, Lars Ulrich gets a 9 out of 10. And before anybody clicks off the video, going in the comment section saying, bro, are you stupid? Everybody knows Lars Ulrich can't drum. I don't really know why people say that, because if you listen to Lars's drumming from the first 5 albums of Metallica, especially the first 4 albums, they're really good. And I don't know if anyone's ever heard And Justice for All, but his drumming on that album is peak. Okay, especially Dyer's Eve. If you listen to Dyer's Eve's drumming isolated, it's very good. His very fast double bass, the thrashiness, it's very good drumming. Lars Ulrich can drum. For the first 5 albums, his drumming is really good. Yeah, in Reload, Load, and Saint Anger, the drumming wasn't as, I wouldn't say his drumming is bad, but it wasn't as fast. But then once we got, Death Magnetic and Hardwired and 72 Seasons, especially 72 Seasons, he really showed that he can drum. Especially in 72 Seasons. I feel like in the latest album, he kind of just like, especially live he plays really good. On the recent tour that they're still touring on, he's actually doing really well, and he's drumming pretty nicely. And I think he's just trying to prove all the haters wrong. And I might make a video on why people hate Lars Ulrich, because people hate Lars Ulrich for 2 reasons. 1, because of the Napster situation, which has nothing to do with his drumming. And 2, because of his decision to make the snare sound trash on Saint Anger. Which, okay, fair. But that's the sound of it, not how he plays. So, anytime I see people online saying, oh, Lars Ulrich can't drum, I just stare at that comment and I just think, is this guy stupid? But, not everybody is educated. Not everybody, is open-minded and woke, I guess. So yeah, especially his drumming in the first 4 albums. Nothing beats his drumming from Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning, the Justice album, and Kill 'Em All too. Kill 'Em All is pure thrash. And yeah, I'd say like his drumming on the Black Album was more like heavy. But people call Lars Ulrich's drumming simple, but I don't see it as simple. I see it as it fits the song. His drumming fits the song. You don't want him to do any, weird stuff to make the song sound out of place. His drumming, yeah, it could be simple, but it fits the song. And I don't think people understand that. So Lars Ulrich gets a 9 out of 10, and people really need to put respect on his name, because without him, there wouldn't be Metallica. So next we have the original rhythm guitar player and the original vocalist, James Hetfield. And I think it's pretty widely known that James Hetfield is the greatest frontman of all of metal. The fact that he can sing so well and play so good at the same time is something a lot of people cannot do, and he does it very well. A good example of somebody who can play the guitar and sing fantastically is James Hetfield. Somebody who does it horribly is Dave Mustaine. But enough bashing on Dave for his singing. James Hetfield has made some of the most iconic riffs. His vocals, especially after the Black Album, because I don't understand, the first 4 albums, he couldn't really sing like that. Like, it sounded good, but he wasn't singing. I don't really know how to explain it, but if you know, you know. Because, like, if you listen to his vocals on the first 4 albums, they sound good, it sounds like it fits. But then once we got to the Black Album, that's when he started taking, like, his singing seriously, and he was actually, like, singing, and it sounded great. And especially nowadays, especially on 72 Seasons, his vocals sound really good, and you can't really hate on his singing, especially on the latest album. It's just pretty solid. So not only has he made some of the greatest riffs in metal, not only can he play the guitar and sing fantastically at the same time, but he's just extremely talented, and James Hetfield gets a 10 out of 10. And I think that's no surprise to anyone. So yeah, that's literally no surprise at all. Okay, I had to end the clip because I was trying to remember who was the original bass player, because he was in the band for like 2 hours. And it's Ron McGovney. I just remembered his name. But yeah, Ron McGovney was the original bass player for Metallica for, like I said, 2 hours before he left the band or got kicked out. And I don't even think I could give him a rating, because I don't know if all the bass playing on Kill 'Em All was Ron, but for now, I'm just going to give him no rating, because I know absolutely zero about this guy. But if somebody in the comment section could educate me and be like, oh, Ron McGovney did play all the bass lines in Kill 'Em All, then if that's the case, I'll give him like a 7, because you can't really hear the bass anyways. So yeah, Ron McGovney, the original bass player. So now that we got the 4 original bass players out, now we got the 4 original players, we're going to get into the next member, which was Kirk Hammett. And Kirk Hammett gets a 10 out of 10. I think he's just as good as Dave Mustaine. And I know a lot of people might say, bro, you're crazy. There's no way you could compare Kirk Hammett to Dave Mustaine. But y'all really be sleeping. Actually, no, I think I'm the only one saying that, because no one sleeps on Kirk. Kirk has some of the greatest solos, the Master of Puppets solo, the One solo, and probably one of the greatest solos of all time from Fade to Black. That solo at the end that is like a whole minute long, beautiful solo, absolutely beautiful. But I'd say all of his solos from Kill 'Em All, all of his solos from Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice for All, and the Black Album are all really good solos, all very good solos. Yes, you can argue that lately, like in the more recent albums, his solos have kind of been lacking, but I think they're still pretty solid. but nothing beats those Kirk Hammett solos from the first four, from the other 4 albums that were after Justice. Kirk Hammett gets a 10 out of 10. Very iconic guitar player. So I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say about Kirk. I just think Kirk's a very solid, very good, not even solid, but 10 out of 10 lead guitar player. And he's still in the band today. So, next we have the bass player that thankfully replaced Ron McGovney, and which is the greatest metal bass player of all time, and that is Cliff Burton. Rest in peace. Cliff Burton, man, I don't even think I have to explain. Well, first of all, 10 out of 10. And I know a lot of people anybody who doesn't know anything about Metallica are probably watching this video and like, this kid is so biased, giving all these high ratings. But there's a reason why Metallica is the greatest metal band of all time, because all the members are pretty talented. And you can ask anybody in the metal community that Cliff Burton is one of the greatest of all time. And he gets a 10 out of 10. His bass work on Orion is some of the most beautiful bass playing of all time. And all of his bass lines are iconic. And they're all powerful. And that one time that they played live, when they played For Whom the Bell Tolls, and he like, I forgot the word, but he played the For Whom the Bell Tolls bass line, but he kind of like did his own thing, and I love that. It was awesome. And not to mention one of the greatest bass solos of all time, Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth, which is a very good bass solo. So yeah, Cliff Burton, 10 out of 10 bass player. So when Cliff died, we got Jason Newsted, and Jason Newsted, he's not as, I wouldn't say he's as good as Cliff, but he deserves respect, and he's going to get a 9 out of 10. Jason Newsted is probably one of the most beloved bass players, and his time in Metallica are some of the most memorable things in the band. Not only his iconic backing vocals from Creeping Death, and he plays with a pick, by the way. He's a bass player who plays with a pick, and he plays really good. And if you listen to the Garage Days EP, his bass is very, very audible, and you can hear it very well in the Garage Days EP. And he has very good bass playing, man. People sleep on him. And I wish James Hetfield, Kirk Hammett, and Lars Ulrich had more respect for him. More specifically, James and Lars, because Kirk didn't have a problem with him. But, you know, Cliff Burton just died, and they took all their anger out on Jason Newsted, which isn't healthy. That sucks, but you gotta understand what they're coming from. One of their best friends died in the car crash along with them. Well, they didn't die, but he died. So you can see why they had a bunch of anger, and they had to take it out on something. And it was the first time they ever dealt with something like that, so you can't really blame them. But yeah, Jason Newsted, awesome player. And one of my favorite moments from Jason Newsted was from my favorite song on the Black Album, which is My Friend of Misery. And that bass intro, I love it. So Jason Newsted gets a very deservable 9 out of 10. I wouldn't say he's Cliff Burton, but he's only one level below. I'd give Jason a 9 out of 10. And the final member of Metallica, which is the current bass player for Metallica, is Robert Trujillo. I hope I said his last name right. And don't get me wrong, I love Robert. Robert's awesome. He's a very good bass player, very talented. But and I kind of feel bad saying this, but he doesn't come anywhere near Jason Newsted or Cliff Burton. And maybe that might be because of the fact that Metallica aren't showing his full potential. I feel like everybody in the band, they're not letting Robert really show what he could do. But I'm gonna have to give Robert a 8 out of 10. So Robert has an 8, Jason has 9, Cliff has 10. Okay, I'm not gonna give Robert anything below an 8, because that's just disrespectful. And you know, he's been in the band since Saint Anger, because that's when Jason left the band. and ever since he's been a fan favorite. From his crab walk and his recreations of the classic anesthesia pulling teeth solo, which he does pretty he does it justice. But his bass playing is good. I feel like on the 72 Seasons, the most recent album, he really had to shine more. He really had more shine because there was a lot of good bass parts in that album, especially in Inamorata, when they had the bass bridge. But Robert Trujillo is a very good bass player, and he gets respect. Obviously, no one thinks that he's better than Jason and Cliff, and who knows? Maybe he is a better bass player than Jason and Cliff. But I feel like Metallica aren't letting him show his full potential. Maybe they should. Maybe in the next album that Metallica releases, which is probably going to be in like 6 or 5 years, maybe they might give him his own song where he does like a solo, because Cliff Burton was the only one to do that in Metallica's history. An entire song dedicated to a bass solo. So maybe if they let Robert in the next album have a whole song of him doing a bass solo, that would be great. Maybe we could finally hear what he can do. But it just kind of feels like Robert is like, oh, he's just there. He's just there because we need him. But I don't want to bash or trash on Robert. He's a very talented bass player, very good, very fun to watch. And today's his birthday, actually. The day I'm recording this, today's his birthday. Yeah, I'm gonna give Robert a 8 out of 10, and I think that's fair, especially since I don't know what he can do. And I'm saying only we're only talking about Metallica here. I know he was in Suicidal Tendencies, and there is a couple Suicidal Tendencies songs I did hear, and they're actually pretty good. But we're talking strictly about Metallica and what he's accomplished and what he's done in the band. So there you go. That's all the members of Metallica ranked, and I'm just so glad that the lineup hasn't changed. Lars Ulrich, James Hetfield, and Kirk Hammett have been in the band since the beginning. And a lot of bands can't do that. It's very hard for bands who have been around over 40 years to stay together that long. Yes, their original bass player died from a car accident, which they had no control over, so that sucks. And I feel like if that never happened, Cliff would still be in the band to this day. And then, obviously, they had Jason Newsted, who left the band because he wanted to do his own thing, which I respect. And then now we have Cliff Burton. Now we have Robert. So those are all the members ranked. I think I did pretty good. So yeah. Oh, and Bob Rock. I guess he counts. He played the bass on the album of Saint Anger. I can't rank Bob because one, you know what? Never mind. Forget I even said that. That's it for the video. Let me know what you guys think. Bye.